Family Leonardo, me Nasila did on multimedia, the CEO voice of Salon. Today I come for talk to now, my family, make una continue to subscribe to our YouTube channel and share to our friends them. As we always try to bring for the latest news what they happen around Salon, whether it be politics or any other news them, what they happen or gossip, what they bring out to live and direct. So please, my family, don't forget to subscribe and share to our friends them. You want to touch the bell icon so that you don't miss any video we will try for bring out to now. So that's also we want make una don't forget also for subscribe to we TikTok channel on TikTok and also on Facebook or Facebook page or the Voice of Salon or also the on Instagram Voice of Salon. Please family, and don't forget to share. Okay, thank you now. Tata.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Sierra Leoneans, comrades all both home and the diaspora. Assalamu alaikum ya jamati wal muslimina wal muslimat. Shalom to we Christian brothers and sisters both home and the diaspora. This now the golden voice of the Apc Encyclopedia, the Britannica, the socio-political analyst, the voice of the voiceless, the whistleblower, the lion of the social media, the regional publicity secretary, Southern Region, under the ticket of the mighty, indomitable All People's Congress Party. Fellow listeners all over the globe, as you know, say the Encyclopedia Media always embark on civic education for continue for educate, inform, sensitize, conscientize, and raise awareness to we people then we darling Mama Salon on daily happenings and on burning issues. So uno stay tuned, uno stay fixed, uno stay blessed, uno stay connected to the Encyclopedia Media for uno listening pleasure is absolutely guaranteed. Thank God today is Sunday the 17th of August 2025. We presentation today and we topic they come from Proverbs 16 verse 27 to 28. We say useless people make evil plans and their words are like a burning fire. Proverbs 16 verse 28, they say a useless person causes trouble and a ruin to friendship. You go tell from this proverb say the sinful element of the ungodly man then describe him as way person they get a burning fire na he lives. In other words, he want for see things there burn because he headstrong and he dey show strife, and because he want a harvest of more strife, 30, 60, and 100. Fellow Sierra Leonean ladies and gentlemen, full step. So ungodly man diggeth up evil, and his lips there is a burning fire. A froward man soweth strife, and a whisperer separated chief friends. This is now the King James Version, when I Proverbs 16 verse 27 to 28. There are times when dirty deeds them, then go be done. Sometimes who say a noble soul go come forward for reveal that facts day. We dey praise that person day and call her as a whistleblower. But their situation will say a resolve debt with property and someone else they come along in order for dig up the bones. A worthless man digs out evil. Proverbs 16 verse 28 they speak about the destructive nature of gossip and deceitful behavior. It states say a perverse person they stir up conflicts, and a whisperer they separate close friends them. This verse they highlight how dishonest speech they damage relationship and how dishonest speech they create division. This now the corrupt, destructive, dishonest, and deceitful elements them what we get inside the mighty, indomitable All People's Congress Party today, now in national body politics. A power spread, strife. What did this mean? This part they try for emphasize how somebody dishonest, how manipulative, and how prone for cause trouble, and they easily incite conflict and discord among people. These are the people then what we get today. now the All People's Congress Party as worthless and useless leaders that we don't sell the nation value for their personal aggrandizement and self-egoism. And a whisperer separates close friends. What did this mean? This part they try for highlight the damaging effect of gossip and secret talk. A whisperer na somebody where they spread rumors or harmful information about others them behind them back, where they lead to distrust and the breakdown of friendship, like Mr. Don and Dusted, Dishonorable Abdul Kabu, and Dishonorable AKK of Talamunoma Songbala Kambia district. They all now sneaking whisperers there that the All People's Congress Party, where they spread false rumor, harmful information, and dishonest politicking for dirty the image of a clean and honest politician, HE, the president-elect, Dr. SAMURA, Matthew, Wilson, Bayomie, Kanapi, Batemben, Joseph Wisdom, KAMARA. This now how a whisperer, they separate close friends. But unfortunately for them, the destructive and psychopathic politics of Agenda 2028 not able to separate the president-elect and the grassroots of the All People's Congress Party, the downtrodden, the sufferer, and the democratic giants that will stand tall for electoral justice and accountability. Ladies and gentlemen. So essentially, Proverbs 16 verse 28, he warned against the dangers of dishonesty and gossip. It emphasized how their behavior had lead to conflict and the destruction of relationship. It encouraged individuals them for be honest, for be constructive, and for avoid spreading rumors or engage in divisive speech them. A dishonest man, they spread strife, and a whisperer, they separate close friends. Ladies and gentlemen, what does this mean? A dishonest man, they lie about the intention of a neighbor, starting a conflict with somebody else. And one of the devil's infrequent tools, now uncontrolled speech. This they talk now James 3 verse 5 to 6. That includes things like gossip and slander in Proverbs 6 verse 16 to 19. Ladies and gentlemen, lie they create a rift even between friends. Robin talk about three things there, where he call the pillars of friendship. He talk about one, proximity. Number two, he talk about timing. And number three, he talk about energy. Usually, when friendship them form, all them three the pillars here could be exist. God designed friendship for provide companionship, for support and encouragement along with journeying through life. The three fruits of friendship, ladies and gentlemen, when alignment, safety, and trust. The three C's of friendship. These are the three basic type of people there with whom for interact. One, you constituent. When are you constituents? Number two, now you comrades there. And number three, now you confidants there. The three qualities of a true friend or a healthy friendship, you need a blend of trust, a blend of compassion, a blend of empathy and respect, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Sierra Leoneans. So you get to be vulnerable with others, honest about how you feel, and supportive when people they need you. True friendship, according to the Bible, a friend, a comrade, a colleague, or a confidant, now somebody way near you or somebody way there for you. According to Proverbs 18 verse 24, ladies and gentlemen, a man of many companions or friends then they come to ruin, but there's a friend where they stick closer than a brother. Friend, not to your biological brother, more close to you and committed to you than your brother. Waiting at the secrets of true friendship. A true friendship, not they ever laugh or mock at you, but they listen, open their ears for offer you advice if you ask. Forget a trustworthy friend. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Sierra Leoneans, it's been like now for talk to them about your personal issue when you dey face and no say, then thing and they all when we don't talk, they can keep her as a secret where they not go circulate and behind you. Waiting at the spiritual core purpose of friendship for help we for change and for grow. That now the spiritual core purpose of friendship. According to Proverbs 16 verse 27, the one the way they deliberately speak evil, they use profane languages, blasphemous and hurtful message. Ladies and gentlemen, Solomon compared short speech for great pain and destruction. Idle hands are the devil's workshop. A worthless man devises mischief, and his lips there is a scorching fire. This statement the echoed by a common proverb in modern English, which say, if you play with fire, you go get burned. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Sierra Leoneans. So Proverbs 16 verse 27 to 28, it talk about self-destruction. A man where they commit adultery, in all get sense. And whoever does so, they destroy himself, because pride now an abomination to God. The apostle Paul notes say, the one the way they waste their time in idleness or in a non-productive manner, then they easily lead to sin. Ladies and gentlemen, when they hear somebody is idle, they spend billions of years on retreat just for damage the reputation of the chosen one, when are nothing but idleness and unproductive manner, but who Jah bless no one cause. Idle words in the Bible now about somebody where they speak in a useless manner, a foolish manner, or worthless manner, or worthless way. Now about the person where they intend for come about their heart and their mind, ladies and gentlemen. So all the deceptive and bogus propaganda, it went in vain, empty, useless, having no content, groundless, leading to nothing but hypocrisy, betrayal, division, deception, and self-destructive behavior. Solomon notes how difficult it is for endure attacks from foolish, persistent people there. In contrast, genuine love, it will be shown by speaking the truth. In Proverbs 27 verse 1 to 6 further, wisdom explains the value of close friends who can be even more helpful than blood relatives in a time of crisis. Today, many of we don't stand behind HA, the president-elect, Dr. SAMURA KAMARA, where we're not a blood relative, but comrades in the mighty, indomitable All People's Congress Party. We believe in justice. We believe, say, injustice to one, a threat to justice to everyone, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Sierra Leoneans. So Proverbs 6 verse 20, my son, keep your father's commandment and forsake not your mother's teaching. This verse they try to emphasize the importance of parental guidance and instruction for shape a child in character and moral complex according to the Bible resource. It highlights the enduring value of hearing from both parents and integrating their teaching into one's life. So Dr. SAMURA Matthew Wilson, Blessed Grace Anointed Grace Betemben Joseph Wisdom Kamara, is covered with the blood of Jesus, with the blessing of imparents them. So with age and experience come wisdom, knowledge, discernment, and understanding. A child does not need to learn life's lesson the hard way. If he can live his parent instruction, he will spare himself from unnecessary hardship and get a jump on life's true joys. So the law, when a Torah in Hebrew, meaning direction, instruction, law of one's mother, now the greatest and the general instruction where mama they give to in Pekin. Proverbs 6 verse 27. This they discuss the concept of playing with fire and getting burned. And they ask, can a man carry fire in his bosom and his cloth not be burned? This passage highlights the inevitability of negative consequences where you engage in risky or harmful behavior. Similarly, how fire they inevitably burn the one the way they play with fire according to the Bible. So the verse is a part of a larger passage where they warn against adultery, using fire as a metaphor for the consequences of such actions, ladies and gentlemen. The characteristics of an enemy. Enemy of the people. Now the phrase where they use for designate political or social opponents, often with intent for incite hatred and repression against them. Historically, it been employed by authoritarian regime for demonize dissenters and for justify violence. In modern usage, the phrase is controversial with critics, arguing it echoes totalitarian tactics and for undermine democratic institutions like free press. An enemy of the people, it got two key messages. First, now a criticism of democracy. Second, now the story of how one man in bravery and self-respect, they survive overwhelming odds. An enemy of the state, now somebody who is suspected of political crimes against the state, such as treason. The two enemies of a person, now prejudice and narrow-mindedness. The main idea of an enemy of the people, ladies and gentlemen, now the conflict between individual integrity and societal pressure. An enemy of the people, now a play by a Norwegian playwright, when a Henrik Ibsen, we explore the conflict between individual integrity and societal pressure. Fellow listeners all over the globe. So the team, now taking responsibility in the face of widespread opposition. The biggest enemy of a person, or the greatest enemy of human beings, now the mind, when are the greatest enemy of we all. The six enemies of human in Hinduism, ladies and gentlemen, what they call Arishad, Vaga, or Shadripu. Kama, na desire or lust. Kroda, na anger. Lobha, na greed. Mada, na ego. Moha, na attachment. Masalia, na jealousy. And Alicia, na laziness. So the characteristic of an enemy, it display a predatory antagonistic behavior towards you. Gossip behind your back and defame your character. Attempt for sabotage your success and betray your trust. Always in the middle of an inflicted conflict with others. Seek revenge and inflict harm on the one they wouldn't despise. So the primary conflicts in an enemy of the people, it revolve around the struggle between individual morality and collective good. According to the Bible, when he remind we about we enemies then, it is not about the flesh and the blood, but now a spiritual being, when are the devil and the false system. When are Ephesians 6 verse 12. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow listeners all over the globe. So we can tell them people they are today because now Sunday, for now we embark on this civic education so that we people then go get the message. The government of the people. This they refer to a democratic form of government whose political power is ultimately vested in the citizens of a nation. This means say the people then get a say in how therefore be governed, often through electing representative for make decision on their behalf. It imply a system whereby the government will be accountable to the people and serve the interest of the people. Democracy at the time of government of the people, very closely associated with the concept of democracy, where often defined as rule by the people, when a Greek word, we mean demo, the people, kratos, power or rule. The people's power in a democratic system, the people then get the power for choose the leaders then through election. Here, ladies and gentlemen, under the bureaucracy, then conduct elections, the people then vote overwhelmingly for the leaders and there were no result. Accountability. Elected representatives they expected for be responsive to the needs and the wishes of the people within they represent. Here under the bureaucracy, then they work for them pockets and subject the people to exploitation, extortion, hunger, poverty, starvation, joblessness, hopelessness, and entangle the lives of citizens to political slavery. Fellow listeners, comrades all. Participation. Citizens that in a democracy, they get the right for participate in the political process, including speaking out, organizing and protesting when necessary. So under the bureaucracy, the participation of citizens in the political process now a hell on earth. You will be forced with police brutality, military high-handedness, torture, killings, unlawful incarceration, oppression, burning of houses and property, and send you to a forceful exile or slaughter you in secret. When you speak out for your democratic rights, the rebel junta Kamajo, they brutalize you like a political slave. When you go out for a peaceful protest, then go hold you, say you're not a terrorist, you're not insurrectionist, or you're a plot for overthrow the government. Ladies and gentlemen, not always direct. While some Democrats then, they involve direct participation, and others there, na representative democracy, wherein the citizens that they elect individually for make decision on their behalf. The 16th United States president from United States of America from 1861 to 1865, when our President Abraham Lincoln, in his Gettysburg Address, he famously used the phrase, government of the people, by the people, for the people, we often cited as a definition of democracy. So the government of the people is called democracy, ladies and gentlemen. Now, government by the people. This means, say, that a political system without the power for govern is ultimately held by the citizens. In a democracy, this often they translate to citizens then for elect a representative for make decision on their behalf and also get the right for participate in civic life for influence then decision then they. It emphasize say the government authority come from the consent and participation of the governed. So government by the people, it means rule by the people. Government for the people. This they signify a government legitimacy and power where derived from the consent of the citizens. We are in the ultimate sort of authority. Furthermore, the government for be actionable and for serve the interests of the people within the government. So he enshrined in the 1991 constitution that sovereignty belongs to the people of Sierra Leone, from whom government through this constitution derive all its powers, authority, and legitimacy. Of the people, this means, say, the government then former by the people, representing their collective will and aspiration. By the people mean the people that actively they participate in the government, either directly or through elected representative. Ladies and gentlemen, for the people mean the government primary purpose now for serve the interest, the need, and well-being of its citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, when corrupt leaders then they usurp the power from the people, it will be described as authoritarianism, tyranny, or dictatorship, depending on the specific context and the extent of the power grab. This time they describe system which have power concentrated in the hands of few, often through illegitimate means, and which the will of the people could be disregarded. In some cases, this could be referred to as a coup d'etat, when at the sudden illegal seizure of power from government. So what happened in Sierra Leone on June 24, 2023 multi-tier election is nothing but a coup d'etat for overthrow we had and democracy. Authoritarianism. This they describe a system whose political power is concentrated in a leader or a small group of people with limited or no participation from the people. Tyranny. This they refer to a form of government whose the ruler they exercise absolute power, often in a cruel or oppressive way. Dictatorship is similar to tyranny. A dictatorship na a form of government whereby one person or a small group they hold absolute power, typically without the consent of the governed. Ladies and gentlemen, coup d'etat. This is a specific event, often violent, whereby government they overthrow and replace them by a new regime. So from a hard and democracy to a coup d'etat, no wonder the self-promoted brigadier general get a PhD in coup d'etat according to his wife. Ladies and gentlemen, when are the false lady. So the PhD holder in coup d'etat, now nothing but a usurper. We listeners think you want to know what's a usurper. Usurper, an illegitimate or controversial claimant to power. So bio any ECSL, gang of thieves, and nothing but usurpers. People that when they take power, authority by force or without legal justification, by manipulating election or even seizure of power through military means or police brutality. This act then called a usurpation of political power, for arrogate, for assume, for seize, or for take over power unconstitutionally and undemocratically, with them political corruption, whether the use of power by government officials or the network contracts them for illegitimate private gain, with them hegemonic rule. Hegemony in a term where they use for refer to a group, a state or entity where they exhibit political or cultural dominance over other groups. Fellow listeners, comrades all, both home and the diaspora, with what we call in a malfeasance manner. Malfeasance na intentional conduct where wrongful or unlawful by officials there or public employees there, which then gross misuse of power. The other name for misuse of power na misconduct, mismanagement, power harassment, corruption, incompetence, malpractice, negligence, ill treatment, exploitation, and bad government. They be called as malfeasance in office, where officials where they also call as official misconduct. Ladies and gentlemen, whether the commission of an unlawful act, where they also be a form of arrogation, the act of taking or claiming something or for someone without justification. This then called usurpation. Why people in the abuse power? According to psychological factors, people in the abuse power, a tend for score low in feelings of empathy towards others and high in narcissism or self-love. They value their own needs, their own wants, and their own desire over the one them, where they discount or dismiss them pain, where they inflict pain on the others. Ladies and gentlemen, with them pantomimic politics. This they refer to a style of political discourse and action where characterized by exaggerated, theoretical, or often superficial display, whereby substance and genuine engagement they lack. This is a way of describing, fellow listeners, politics where they prioritize appearances and spectacle over meaningful debate and policy solution, often resembling a pantomime performance. Focus on appearance. Pantomime politics, they prioritize what we call visual and performance aspect of politics, short as grand gestures, strong rhetorics, and symbolic action over substance policy discussion. Superficiality. This they often involve simplifying complex issues that into easy digestive narrative, potentially overlooking nuances and complexities. The term pantomime politics could be used for describe politicians there or political movements there where they employ dramatic and over-the-top rhetoric use of social media for create a persona or engage in symbolic action where go translate into where not they translate into tangible policy changes. Criticism. Pantomimic politics often characterized for being shallow, irresponsible, and even manipulative, and potentially they distract from real issues and contributing to public disillusionment. Pantomimic politics now a way of characterizing political behavior where they prioritize spectacles and performance over substance, often with negative implication for democratic discourse and policy making. Fellow listeners, we say, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Sierra Leonean comrades all, both home and the diaspora, we said in the life and people there, deceptively, we are at the two ferries, the Lunge Bridge, the Tapalapa Bakery, the 3 million jobs for the youth, the Aecon Solar Light, the Bill Gates investment, the Idris Elba investment, the ultramodern diagnostic and therapeutic hospital, the bread and butter economy, the newborn city, the electric train, the new state house, the relocation of the Pandemba Road Maximum Prison, the free quality education today now a paralytic and epileptic medication and a dropout education. Where the kindergarten schools there for all the 190 chiefdoms, where the junior secondary schools there for all the 446 wards, where the senior secondary schools there of all the 135 constituency with the staff headquarters, lucrative salaries, 3 university scholarship for picking of teachers there, we don't teach for over 10 years, where the new airport for Bo, Kenema and Bond, where the 24 hours interrupted electricity from Ivory Coast. Today, we day in a traumatic blackout, where the free uniform, the shoes, the bag, and the exercise books there, where the 15 factories there, where the Lunge and Potloko forget, where the $40 billion for Mafoki and Marampa chiefdom, all they want they are, na bogus promises, na bogus propaganda, na bogus propaganda, na a politicking and a pantomimic development, sugar-coated vibes, paper development, ladies and gentlemen, and the money-making machine, the hands of our girls, fellow listeners, don't end up today to teenage pregnancy, to early marriage and commercial prostitution. We listeners like you want to know what's in a bogus propaganda. Bogus propaganda, they refer to a false or a misleading information where they present as factual, often with the intention for deceive or for manipulate public opinion. This is not a form of disinformation where intentionally false information for fraud so that they will deceive the people. This they manifest as fake news stories, fabricated content, or manipulative information disguised as legitimate news or information. Bogus propaganda, they erode public trust in institutions, the media, and even each other. They undermine democratic processes, harmful action, and emotional manipulation. The PhD holder in coup d'etat no know wetin na consultation. Consultation na the act for exchange information and opinions there about something in order for reach a better understanding or for make a decision or a meeting for this purpose. So section 32 subsection 3 of the 1991 Constitution, they say the member of the Electoral Commission shall be appointed by the President after consultation with the leaders of all registered political parties and subject to the approval of Parliament. This was circumvented by the pauper bureaucracy. But now remember, say, there is section 108 subsection 8, where say any alteration, suspension, or repeal of this constitution other than on the authority of Parliament shall be deemed to be an act of treason. Have a nice Sunday with Christian brothers and sisters. They don't come on our church for pray for the country, for pray against the bad politicians them. We don't subject the people then to suffering today. They don't impoverish the people of Sierra Leone for sake of them corrupt, they're rogue, they're misdirected, exploitative, and then vandalistic and destructive politics where they don't come within the country for their selfish interests and suffer the people. They administer over 36 minerals where we get now the Republic of Sierra Leone. Where they pray for His Excellency, the President-elect, Dr. SAMURA Wisin KAMARA. Let God continue for protector and cover her with the blood of Jesus. I pray for my chief advisor, when the mother of democracy, where they abroad. Let God cover her with the blood of Jesus. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Sierra Leoneans, let God bless we, let God protect we, and let God protect